know what thing.
My talk is what?
No, your clock is slow.
It is so slow. I just cannot
Isn't
know.
it?
It's 11
So what
o'clock.
do we go by your clock or by real time?
Real time.
That's what I thought.
Oh, you can actually welcome everyone. Peter?
Okay. Here we go. Good morning, everyone. Happy Sunday. Happy BC Day long weekend. My name is Peter Williams. Welcome you to Unity of New Westminster. And if you're comfortable standing, let's stand and sing our opening song. We should love the little children, all the children of the world. Every shade and every hue, they are precious through and through. Let's all love everybody in the world. Everyone is beautiful in their own way, like a starry summer night or a rainbow on a rainy day. Everybody's beautiful in their own way. Underneath the open sky, the world's gonna find a way. There is none so blind as he who will not see. We must not close our minds, we must let our thoughts be free. For every hour that passes by, you know the world gets a little bit older. It's time to realize that beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder. Everyone is beautiful in their own way, like a starry summer night or a rainbow on a rainy day. Everybody's beautiful in their own way. Underneath the open sky, the world's gonna find a way. We shouldn't care about the length of their hair or the color of their skin. Don't worry about what shows from without, but the love that lives within. And we're gonna get it all together now, everything gonna work out fine. Just take a little time to look on the good side, my friend, and straighten out in your mind. Everyone is beautiful in their own way, like a starry summer night or a rainbow on a rainy day. Everybody's beautiful in their own way. Underneath the open sky, the world's gonna find a way. Everyone is beautiful. Everyone is beautiful. Everyone is beautiful.
Thank you, Peter.
Thank you.
Welcome back. It's so lovely to have you back and have you lead us in singing. It's always a delight when you're here. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Unity of New Westminster. I'm Reverend Rona Segara, and it is my pleasure to welcome you all here today. If you are joining us for the first time, the first time in a long time, welcome back, welcome. And if you are joining us online, welcome to you as well. We're so happy that you are here. And we hope that sometime in the future, if you ever have an opportunity to come to Unity of New Westminster, that you come and visit us in beautiful British Columbia. It is a lovely place to be. We gather here every week to consider ideas for full and abundant living. We draw on the teachings of Jesus, who we consider our primary way shower and example. And we honor that there is wisdom to be found in faith traditions all over the planet. There's wisdom to be found in song and in story and in our life experiences. All are welcome here. All are worthy here. All are celebrated here. And our desire, my desire for you, is that you leave here today with one idea that you might choose to implement so that you add more calm, connection, or contentment to your life. Let us begin our time today in affirmative prayer, centering prayer. We begin with gratitude that we are on the traditional and ancestral territory of the Kakite First Nation. We give thanks for First Nation peoples everywhere, for their connection and love of this land. We give thanks that we are able to meet here today in this little white church on the corner, where we are reminded of our love for each other, where we connect, where we sing, where we make friendships, and where we consider ideas. We embrace the idea that there is only one power, one universal power. Some people identify that power as God, others as Allah, Yahweh, nature, science, the force, life, good. By whatever our understanding may be for this one power, for whatever name we may place on it, we embrace the idea that it is one, that there is no place that the creative energy is not. And that includes each of us. That we are then part of this interconnected network. And in this network, we are all one. And from this awareness of oneness, then, we extend a blessing for love, for peace, for acceptance, for healing to every being on this planet. We consider and hold and uplift those who at the moment are suffering from climate events across the planet, from rain and heat and fire, from drought. We give thanks for the caregivers, and we hold all in a blanket of love. And today also, we celebrate Pride in Vancouver. And we give thanks for all who have brought the movement of LGBTQIA+ to such an awareness for us, that we can see beneath all of those labels to that common humanity where we are all one. We love all. And for this time together, for this opportunity to connect, and for this reminder of our oneness, we give thanks and say amen. And I'm going to invite Tara to come up to read the daily word for us. Look at her in her, ta-da!
Happy Pride! This is my first time reading the daily word, so. Oh, yes. Which explains that. Is it already on? So the theme for today is believe. And the affirmation is, I trust that my belief and my unbelief are enough. When Thomas says he can't believe in Jesus' resurrection unless he touches the wounds for himself, he is describing those moments when God's infinite, eternal good seems too hard to believe. Jesus' response is instructive. He doesn't criticize Thomas's doubt or demand blind faith. Instead, he offers exactly what Thomas needs, inviting him to touch the wounds and see for himself. Jesus meets him where he is, then invites him into a deeper way of believing, one that can trust in unseen blessings. The invitation is open to us too. Whether our belief is steady and confident, or we long for reassurance and signs of divine presence, we trust we are divinely supported and dearly loved. The matching scripture is from the book of John, chapter 20, verse 29. Jesus said to him, "Have you believed because you have seen me? Blessed are those who have not seen and yet have come to believe."
Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I heard of once in a lullaby. Somewhere over the rainbow, skies are blue, and the dreams that you dare to dream really do come true. Someday I'll wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me. Well, troubles melt like lemon drops away above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me. Somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly. Birds fly over the rainbow. Why then, oh, why can't I? If happy little bluebirds fly beyond the rainbow, why, oh, why can't I?
Thank you, Peter. I apologize for not having my microphone on. My power switch was off. Oh well. So those of you here probably heard me. Those of you at home probably did not. Sorry about that. As we prepare to hear today's message, I invite you to close your eyes with me if that is comfortable for you. And if you prefer to keep your eyes open in this time of meditation, then just allow your eyes to rest gently on a place in front of you. And become aware of your breathing. Become aware of this amazing gift of life that we take for granted so often. Notice that cool air as it enters your body. Notice the warmth of the air as it leaves your body. And take a moment now to give thanks for your breath. And then gently notice how your breath moves into your body. And give thanks for this vessel, your body, that contains you, or helps to represent your essence. Give thanks for the parts that are hurting, the parts that feel healthy, for every part. And then gently move your attention to your mind and your thoughts, to this very, very busy part of your body that never ceases to work. And invite that part to rest a little as you thank it for its service to you. And then gently move your attention to your chest, to your heart, your throat, your belly, to the places where you feel and where you feel your body's responses to feeling. And give thanks for your feelings. The feelings that help to clarify your values for you. And now imagine your feeling space opening wide. Imagine your heart opening wide. And as it opens wide, you allow love to flow to you. Breathe and feel the love that is life filling your being. And imagine this love flowing to you from the time that you were a baby. Imagine the first time that you were held and treasured and cherished. And allow that feeling to fill you. And then imagine a very slow forwarding in time as you transition from that infant to a toddler, to a young child, to a teenager, to all those places where you start changing how you present to the world. Adding tattoos, changing hair color, wearing clothes that your parents didn't like. And remembering that you were always that treasured infant. Then imagine growing older, moving into your 20s and 30s and having relationships at work, friendships, marriages, divorces, disappointments. Imagine yourself coming through each one of these transition ages. Moving through your life to maturity, and recognize that whatever your age is today, the essence of you is love. The essence of you is beauty. Rest in that awareness. And imagine wrapping a gentle arm around yourself as you love yourself. Love yourself. That is the power of imagination, the power of going within, the power of compassion. And so it is.
so many songs about rainbows and what's on the other side. Rainbows are visions, but only illusions, and rainbows have nothing to hide. So we've been told, and some choose to believe it. I know they're wrong, wait and see. Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. Who said that every wish would be heard and answered when wished on the morning star? Somebody thought of that and someone believed it. Look what it's done so far. What's so amazing that keeps us stargazing? And what do we think we might see? Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. Have you been half asleep and have you heard voices? I've heard them calling my name. Is this the sweet sound that calls me to wake up? The voice might be one and the same. I've heard it too many times to ignore it. It's something that I'm supposed to be. Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me.
I'm thinking of Monty Python right now because we're going to do, and now for something completely different. A few months ago, I was chatting with Peter about some upcoming services, and I mentioned this weekend, Pride Weekend in Vancouver, and it actually starts off Pride Month here in New Westminster. And he shared that his nephew, Rick, is an advocate and very active in the LGBTQ plus, etc., movement in Nanaimo. And the plan was, we were hoping that that he would be able to join us today as our guest speaker. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to make it, but what we were able to do was have a Zoom call together. And we recorded that Zoom call, and that's what you'll be seeing, elements of that Zoom call today as our talk. I'll tell you a little bit about Rick beforehand. Rick is an LGBTQ plus advocate. He's a performer, he's a community leader. He lives in Nanaimo, and he has worked for decades, since the early 80s, as an advocate and as a person who wants to raise awareness for gays' rights and gay, etc. rights. Sorry, I apologize. I know I'll probably forget one of the letters, so when I say that, I mean it very respectfully, that what Rick's work is to raise awareness for rights of all people, particularly people in communities where we celebrate during the month of Pride. What happened in 2016 is one of Rick's friends passed away. And he kind of took on and was inspired by this friend to take on a greater leadership role in Nanaimo Pride. And as a result of that, he was the one who helped organize the very first Nanaimo Pride Parade. So it has now 10 years old. The rainbow crosswalks that you will see in Nanaimo are all part of his advocacy. And he is a person who discovered that drag is something that reduces people's resistance. It's like it opens their hearts to a place of joy and fun. And so Rick is not just an advocate, he is also a drag performer. And I didn't know, he educated me, but it's not on the recording because I'd stopped the recording by the time he told me that drag, the word drag, comes from Shakespearean times where women weren't allowed to act. And so if it was a person who was a person playing a woman's part, Shakespeare wrote in the notes, D-R-A-G, dressed to resemble a girl. And that's where drag comes from. Isn't that cool? Anyway, so, there's your useful information for the day. So I'm going to play this video for you, and you'll see Peter is part of the conversation as well. But my main focus, of course, was to interview Rick and to get his story and some of his wisdom for us as well as we consider Pride right here, 2026, in New Westminster, in Canada, and what that looks like, and why we want to still be mindful of preserving our focus on it. So I invite you to enjoy this video. And I apologize for the quality. Did not realize that I was not recording in high definition. So I'm sorry.
Hello, Rick. It is so nice to have you here and to have you part of our Sunday service today. We're recording this in July for an event that's happening on August the 2nd, which is Pride Weekend in Vancouver, and it kicks off Pride celebrations in New Westminster as well. It's a beautiful thing for this summer-long celebration of Pride. And I envision it actually becoming a year-long celebration in many ways, to the point that I would love to see that we don't actually need the celebration anymore, that it becomes a people celebration, but I don't think we're quite there yet. So your Uncle Peter, who is going to be playing music on the Sunday that you're going to be our guest speaker, is with us as well. And he has been such a blessing to this community with his sense of humor and the way he engages everyone and encourages everyone to sing. And his heart is big and wide and open. And it's for the reason that we so love him. So, hi, Peter.
Hi.
So he told me all about you, and thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. And aren't I a lucky guy to have him as my uncle?
You are. Let me ask you a little bit about you. I've got your bio in front of me, and I know that you were very instrumental in making things like the Nanaimo Pride, the first Pride Parade actually happen. But maybe you could tell us a little bit about some of those things.
Well, I could start way back in the 80s when it all sort of started for me, when I realized that I was different. And back in the 80s, it was a lot different than it is today. There was no gay youth groups. There was nothing. So I had to find my own sense of community. And again, I know this is not about my Uncle Peter, But it was people like my Uncle Peter who are not much older than me that were young enough and accepting enough to accept me for who I was at a young age. I did come out pretty young. I was probably 16 when I first figured out, and that was in the early 80s, pre AIDS, HIV. And so I did find a sense of community here. I found this little pub. It wasn't a gay bar per se, but it was a place where the community would gather. And I found that place at a young age. There were rules. If police came in, I had to exit out this one door. I wasn't allowed to drink. And so it was the community's way of having sort of a gay youth protection. I found that in a lot of places, like when I first went to Vancouver, because, Vancouver did have a much larger LGBTQ plus community. There was a bar, the first bar I ever went into, that was a gay bar, and it was called Neighbors. It was Robson Street. And the same thing there. There was a big man, a very big man, behind the bar named Tiny. And the first words out of Tiny's mouth was, "Yes, Ricky, you could be in here, but here's the rules," and laid them out.
Wow. And I'm guessing you weren't alone in that.
No, there was lots of other younger folks like me. The same rules applied. So I
Well,
moved to that big city, and to live there and to experience that is my life. But I always came home on the weekends. The island is my home. I love being on the island. I love living rural. I like gardening, and I like lots of animals, horses, chickens, ducks. And so I wanted to come back here. So I came back here in the 90s. And in the 90s, that same little bar that used to be a place where we'd go and meet, some fella from Victoria who owned a gay establishment down there bought that bar, and I became a bartender waiter there. And it was great. I knew lots of the people, and there'd been dances and stuff. There'd been gatherings. So it was easy to get them all to come out and make that the place. And it was a hopping place for a lot of years. And that's where I created that alter ego character of mine, Vicky Smudge.
so question before we get to Vicky, what drew you into pride work and moving from being the person first being protected in that bar space to being the bartender and probably helping others to be protected in that space to being more visible in the pride community in the whole city of Nanaimo? How did that come to be?
Well, I was a performer, so I was always involved in lots of different events. And we didn't actually start Nanaimo Pride until 2016. We had Pride going on, but it was small gatherings like, a dance or, a picnic in the park. And it was always run by a fellow named John Lee. And John Lee lost his life suddenly in 2016 or early 2015, late 2015. And the night before this happened, he had called me and said that he wasn't always going to be around and really wanted me to step up. And I had that platform, and he thought that I needed to do that. Anyway, hearing of his passing really did throw me for a big loop. And I had to do one of your steps. I had to step up, and then I had to step out, and then step together. And so I rallied the troops. I got everybody on board. I had some amazing people on my team, and we weren't going to stop. The sky was a limit. We were going to keep going. And then we had great support from our mayor and council. And like I always say, me as a queer person can do lots of stuff, but it takes my allies. It takes the allies to stand with me in order to make big change. Community has to come together, and the community did. It's been amazing. I would give rallies. We would do burger and beer fundraisers. We just kept going hard at the community and kept bringing them out. And I was not even sure we'd get volunteers, but volunteers just poured in. And every time I said, all I want is a big parade, they would cheer and go nuts because that's what they wanted too.
What would you consider to be the greatest victory or the most notable shift since the 80s to where we are now? What would you say in terms of inclusion, awareness, acceptance? Where do you see us now?
Now right on a border, but really good. Back in the 80s, my mom said something like you did about maybe one day we don't have to celebrate. My mom once said to me, one day, Rick, you'll get married, and you will get married. And I thought, lady, it's never going to happen. And before she passed, she was at my wedding here on my property to Owen back in 2008.
It's a real testament to the things that you thought would never be possible and how with enough people with enough heart holding the flag and raising for the cause. It's amazing what actually can happen in a short period of time.
Yeah, when you have that support, when you have that community, you can do anything.
Yeah. And you need the allies.
Absolutely.
The change happens when the people who aren't invested get invested. What do you see as the biggest challenge then for the same community? For,
Well, right now, our trans people are being attacked, and a lot of it comes from the south, and it's coming from the south, and it's coming up here, and sometimes I just get so lost in like, what? Why are you attacking these human beings? What is wrong to you? It's absolutely crazy, and I don't see it. I don't see it lessening. I see it getting worse and worse. Maybe I should stay off of TikTok, and I'd have a better, positive attitude about the future.
are you considering that for Canada as well? Do you see it creeping up into here and changing the momentum here as well?
Yeah, the rhetoric for sure. I hear the rhetoric, where a little boy can go to school in grade 2 and come home a girl. I know that's never going to happen. That's not possible, but that's kind of the rhetoric we hear. And it's such an attack. Where the hate comes from is the people on the sidelines. They just jump in. I did what they call drag story time, where I was in drag and I read to kids. I'm a drag queen. And the first time I did it was in Nanaimo. And I guess it was an up and coming thing that libraries across Canada were doing. And so I was approached, and I battled with myself about this, whether this was right or whether it was wrong. And I thought, well, I'm going to do it anyway because I'm no different than Casey or Finnegan. I'm just really a puppet that's going to tell a story. And so I went to the library, and even walking down to the library, I still was questioning whether what I was doing was right or wrong. I read a story called Worm Loves Worm. We made some glittered microphones for the kids. The kids were having a great time. This little boy, and I say little boy because his mother told me that's how he identifies, came up to me at the end and hugged me, hugged on really tight. And he was wearing flowy outfits. And his mom said to me, this is Casey, and Casey likes to wear flowy clothing. It wasn't like Casey likes to wear women's clothing. It was likes to wear flowy clothing. And I was so touched by Casey that I thought, no, this was okay to do. It was okay. I'm all right. About 2 months later, I was invited to go to this library in Courtney Comox and to read there to kids. We had to move to a bigger room. There were so many kids. And then I came out with my big pink hair. It looks like cotton candy. Kids just want to lick it. And I came out to do the story, and they were all so happy. And I was about to start talking, and this woman stood up, and she says, can I ask you a question? And then she hit me with these horrible, sexist, pedophile-like questions. And I didn't know what to do. So I told her the Casey story right away and how I also had my own internalized homophobia. And that's what had happened to me. And then she started to go again. And thank God I had these bubble guns, like guns that shoot bubbles. And I just went to the kids, who wants to see bubbles? So the kids were all chasing bubbles and going nuts. Well, security took the 2 women out. Turns out these 2 women weren't even from Courtney Comox. They came over specifically for this event from the Lower Mainland.
Tell us a little bit about being a drag queen.
Well, it all started is I wanted to perform. I didn't know how to perform, and I was watching drag queens, and there was a show that came out about 93, 94 called Priscilla, Queen of a Desert. And it moved me. It changed my life. It changed the way I wanted to dress. And I saw it as a really great way to have a platform. I didn't want to be a woman. I didn't want to be a man. I just wanted to be a performer. And that's why I chose the name Smudge, because I was going to smudge the lines. We're not going to be any real lines of anything. And so I chose Smudge and Vicky because it rhymes with Ricky and it was easy for me to remember. And then I started performing as drag queens do. I was lip syncing because that's what I was taught. That's what they do. And then my husband Owen said, Rick, you can sing, so why don't you just sing? So I thought that's even better, right? I'll sing live. I can change the words to the music and I can have a lot of fun. And so I started singing and went from there. And I've even got to perform with my uncle once.
At a milestone birthday.
Ah,
We'll leave the number out.
whose birthday was it?
Mine.
Ah, nice.
It was very special. Yeah.
Yes,
You opened with a came onto the stage area to these boots are made for walking. And then that rewritten version of
Harper Valley PTA, but it was more like Nanaimo PAs. Brilliant.
Thanks, Up.
When Rick was talking about coming to Vancouver and working in bars in Vancouver, it's around maybe 88 or 89. I got a gig at a place downtown Vancouver called the Dufferin, which I knew was a gay bar because the agent that booked me said to me, I've got this gig, piano gig at the Dufferin in the lounge. Do you have any problem playing in a gay bar? And I said, no, would I? So I took the gig. First thing I did was called my nephew. Okay, how do I do this? How do I approach this? And he gave me some good advice. I walk in the first night, who's sitting at the bar, fade in, fade out, back to Tiny, who was tiny. He was huge. And Rick had told me that would probably be there, and I introduced myself as Ricky's uncle, little Ricky's uncle. And he said, I'm Tiny. And so the rest of the week, I could do no wrong.
Full circle.
Full circle. I'm picturing this cotton candy hair and the kids loving you and loving the experience of seeing the joy that you can bring just by being larger than life and larger than most of these kids ever see the adults in their lives show up. And I wonder if you have any insight about the power of that joy, the power of you carrying that message in that way, in sometimes a very overt way, but also subliminally. These kids don't really put together gay, well, maybe they do, but all of these different labels that we attach. And I'm sure at least half of them are just going, oh, this is just fun. So speak a little bit about that.
I think it comes back again to smudging the lines. When I'm in there, I'm not a man, I'm not a woman. In fact, one time a little kid said to me, are you a man or a woman? I said, well, I'm neither. I'm just a drag clown. And they didn't question that. That made sense to them. Oh, of course you're a drag clown. That's all I need to know. I can move on.
So it kind of helps to normalize different.
Yes, because aren't they all different? I mean, I looked at that little crowd of all these little people and all their smiling faces and waiting, exciting. And of course, I sing all the songs that they know how to sing. And they're just all so happy. And they don't care that the kid next to them is wearing purple or the other little girl has got ripped jeans. And none of that. It's not important.
Do you see that the children have less fear than their parents and their grandparents?
Way less fear. They're just totally into it for the fun.
And hopefully that's just how that grows as they grow. As they grow up, hopefully that just becomes part of their acceptance practice as well.
And I met a kid who's now an actor. He does theater, community theater. And he told me that he saw me 10 years ago when I was in drag. And I was like, oh, wow. You don't seem like you've suffered any from it. You seem well adjusted.
What do you remember? You did a Fringe show.
Yeah, we did a Fringe show called Revealing Miss Vicky. And there's a story of me and how growing up in redneck Nanaimo, how I put on this costume and made people laugh and made people comfortable. And I always said, if I can make someone forget that they have cancer for 4 minutes, I've done my job.
I have questions about your experience in faith and spirituality. I watched you being interviewed about the upcoming Fringe show at the time, and the interviewer asked you about your experience at church, and your response was, watch the show. So I don't have the opportunity to watch the show. So can you share some of your experiences with faith communities in general and whether or not those have changed?
Well, my father came from a religious background, and he was a lot older than my mother. My mother was very young when she had me. So when we were about, 10 or 11, my father got in his head that we must all get packed up into a car and go to his church it was the Pentecostal church. It was fundamentalist, so we started going to Sunday school all the time, and there was a sense of community there, a little judgy, and but there was a sense of community, and we went for a few years, and then it just sort of faded away, and then my partner is a nurse, retired, and we took in a woman named Rita, and she was in her 80s and had dementia. She was being kicked out of a home because she didn't follow rules very well. But anyway, she came to live with us, and she lived with us for about 15 years. She made it to 100. It was wonderful. So on Sundays, I took her to church, and I took her to a Catholic church. And I mean, I learned all the rituals. I saw the sense of community, and it was very important to her. She was Italian, but was raised in Montreal, very Catholic. And so taking her there was really important, even at 98 years old, she'd have her high heels on and her Sunday best, and I'd walk her down that aisle so she could take the host. So I love that sense. I love that sense.
What do you think you would like to see more of in faith communities today? I don't actually get a sense of where they are in general. The spectrum of Christianity goes from where we are at Unity to some much more limited interpretation.
I would hope to see more faiths like yours, people who include inclusivity and diversity, and people who recognize their entire congregation, not just the ones who put more money into the basket as it gets passed by. And then there's other, like the extreme ones. We had a problem here on the other side of our river. There's I'm not going to say what it is. I'll just call it a hall where people gather, and they come out and they knock on your doors. And so I invited them in, and because I wanted to find out what their story is. So I said, this is my husband. So if you have problems with that, you should probably go now, because that part's never going to change. And they had no problems. They wanted to talk, and all was good. And then one day, maybe a month later, we came home, and I found some magazines in my door with little sticky notes that were highlights to a page, tagged, and they were all anti-homosexual stuff. And then the next day or 2 days later, they were back. And I said, okay, no, you can't stay here now. Now you have to go because you crossed that line. And then about maybe a year later, I was driving. I live pretty rural and have a long sort of dirt road before my long dirt road driveway. And on the dirt road, I saw these things, these plastic bags tied in a tree. I thought, what's that up there? That's very strange. So I had to get up on top of my truck to get one of these bags down. I got them all down. And they were those same magazines tied in my tree. That kind of stuff I hope stops. And it has stopped now. I learned how to take care of that. You just phone a hall and you tell them never to come to my house again, and they don't. That still exists.
Invasive.
It's very invasive.
That they're maybe concerned for salvation reasons and so on. But at some point, at a very early point, it's really none of their business.
Amen.
If I can just quickly, the faith thing. One of Rick's uncles on his father's side, I still think Tyrone is still minister today. Yeah. How do you relate with him? Or
Not good. I mean, I try to reach out to him, but it always turns back to that subject. And I've tried to avoid it. I don't need to talk about it. I'm comfortable with who I am. I'm comfortable with Owen. But he's not comfortable with it. He still needs to, for some reason, talk to me about it.
If there was one thing that you would hope for religious leaders, faith traditions in general, faith communities in general, what would you want to see them do differently?
Inclusion. Include your whole congregation, all sizes, all ages, all genders. Maybe try and learn what a pronoun means.
You know what? It took me a while. I was one of those, and I'm sure I am not the only person who was like, why are they calling themselves they?
And them. Sounds plural.
Yeah, I actually went through this. Why can't they find a pronoun that is a singular pronoun, because it's messing me up? Until a very dear gay friend said, yeah, isn't it interesting that some people identify as both? And I'm like, Oh,
That's a great way of
wow.
looking at it. Yeah, that's amazing.
As soon as that happened, it was like a little light switch went off, and now it doesn't. The resistance all just faded away with that simple explanation. And it may not be the official explanation, but it made the most sense to me of anything I've heard. So,
It makes sense. My nephew told me that if I saw someone on a bus with a hoodie and the hoodie was up, and I saw them get off at the third stop, and somebody asked me to recount that, I'd say, "Oh yeah, I saw them. They got off at the third stop." I would just naturally would have said them because I didn't know a gender because they had the hoodie on.
right.
Wow.
And we actually do that. We just don't think of it.
Yeah, we do it already. Just like we
Yeah.
already have gender neutral bathrooms. I sit in one every day. We all use my house bathroom.
In all of our homes, we have
Yes.
gender neutral bathrooms. Why is this something that's such a shock when we get into
I don't.
other places? And okay, for the record now, I don't know who designed some of these public places, but they always put the women's bathroom further, so they have to walk further. Women take longer, so their lines are going to be longer. This was not designed well. Anyway, don't get me on that spot. Okay. What do you hope, Rick, that your work has made possible for other people?
Well, I think I've already seen it come to fruition. I have a nephew. My sister had a son. And at a very young age, I could tell he's had such an amazing life. He's a really successful, hardworking person. He works for the same company that I spent 25 years at. 25 years where I fought to have the same-sex benefit and won. And now here he is. He's a supervisor on board the ships, and he's done really well. And he's happy, and he's living in the big city because he chose to, not because he felt it was the gay ghetto, but because he's a fashion diva, and that's where he needs to be.
Tell him you said that.
It's on the recording.
Oh. So those types of things I think I've already seen. I'm not going to stop working hard. I worked hard through the 80s with HIV/AIDS. I worked hard. I didn't work really hard on the whole marriage thing because I just never thought it was going to be possible, probably because I wanted to argue with my mother. But she saw it possible, and she was right. I just had to learn how to get married. I asked Owen to marry me 3 or 4 times, and he just said, "Well, let me get back to you, let me get back to you." So my mom said to me one day, "Well, Rick, we'll just start planning it." So I planned the wedding, and he thought to himself, "Well, I must have said yes somewhere along the line."
That's awesome. And what would you like kids and adults, for that matter, to know about their expression of gender, sexuality? If there was one thing you could tell a little child, or as I mentioned, an adult child who is longing for something different, how would you speak to them? What would you want
Find
them?
find an ally who believes in you and look for support. It's so hard to do any of this on your own, but if you can find an ally, a friend for support and help guide you, help keep you on the straight and narrow, yeah, that's what I would say. They're there. And if you don't have one, call me. I'll help. I'm a really big hockey fan. I like the Canucks, and now I'm really super into my local team, the Nanaimo Clippers. This year, we got the Nanaimo Clippers on board and had the first Pride night, the Nanaimo Clippers. I went in drag to the game and dropped the puck. And this year, the Nanaimo Clippers, for their first year, joined our Pride Parade.
And envisioning you getting up there at a Canucks game one day and singing "O Canada" for us all.
Yeah, only if Uncle Peter plays the piano.
The organ.
The organ. Okay, right, yeah. I went to a wedding this past weekend in North Vancouver. A friend of mine, Andrea, she got married. And when I went, I wore this beautiful caftan that my friend made for me. So yeah, I was a man wearing a dress. There was pants too. And I painted my toes bright pink. Well, wouldn't you know it that I get sat at a table with a 21-year-old trans girl who I didn't know, who immediately glommed onto me. I was her new best friend, right? Because now, like, I mean, she probably was worried, as she probably would be, going to a new event, who's going to see her, who's going to judge her, who's all that. But of course, we sit right beside each other. It was wonderful. And she's my new best friend.
Wow.
Yeah.
So even taking the step out for yourself in something as non-drag like and non-performance like as a wedding still expands the circle of acceptance by doing that, making it more okay for everybody.
Yeah.
My gosh, what a difference you've made in people's lives already. Your journey starting from, sneaking into the bar so that you had a safe space to actively creating safe spaces for all kids is quite remarkable. And it's such a gift that you're able to do that you're able to put on this alter ego, which is really just another part of you, and encourage kids to see that we can all be united in joy and fun. And this other label making stuff should be post-it notes. They should just come off.
Yeah. And it's so much easier to do it the way I do it. Really, it is. Just love people, accept people, have fun, find common ground. We all have common ground.
Amen to that.
Rick and I are together, I don't even really see him. Quite often I pay way more attention to myself, Rick is kind of short, kind of chunky and bald, and well, then I'm the opposite. I'm tall and statuesque and beautiful and glamorous, and I don't think anyone notices Rick. I think Vicky brings out laughter. I think that's one of her biggest assets is making people laugh. I mean, she really does believe that laughter and comedy is the cure to everything, and no matter what people are suffering from, if you can make them forget anything for a couple minutes and laugh, then she's done her job. I grew up in Nanaimo, and I mean, I grew up in the 70s, and there was nothing here for me. I mean, it was a rough town, but it seemed like once I put on some fabulous costumes and sort of took what people normally would make fun of or be afraid of me about, I took that and I made it funny. Whenever I go to bars like the redneck bars, like the Timberlands or the Harewood Arms, there's always at least one big beer-gutted guy in there with the crack of his ass showing, and he sees me and he says, "That little fag better not look at me. Let's get something straight. I'm gay, not desperate." The world of rednecks became mine. I mean, they embraced it.
But growing up, Rick's sexuality wasn't as embraced or accepted as it is today. He says there was a lot of misinformation and fear of the unknown.
I remember looking up gay in the encyclopedia because I knew that was going on for me, and it said that it was a mental disorder. So that's kind of information I got. And people were probably maybe mean, maybe even cruel, but it wasn't really their fault because they didn't know any better either.
Rick assumed the world wouldn't change much in his lifetime. He'd still be fighting an uphill battle to receive the same respect and rights of straight people.
I remember even in the 80s, my mom would say, "Oh, one day you'll get married." And I'd think, "Mom, you're crazy. It's never going to happen. The world is never going to change that much."
But it did. In 2007, Rick got legally married to his partner, Owen. Rick says society's views about homosexuality is changing, and drag queens are influential in making that change.
Drag queens have always been sort of a driving force in the gay community, too. If you remember, in the 60s, there was Stonewall that happened in New York where the cops were busting in gay clubs. And it was the drag queens that stood up and fought back.
Vicky Smudge is helping break down barriers through laughter. Rick says his one dream for Vicky is for her to sing "O Canada" at the Canucks game. In Cassidy, I'm Rayanne LaPlante.
So I hope you all enjoyed that. It was my first experience with doing what ended up being a podcast, and I enjoyed every moment of it. So thank you. And Peter, we're going to hear you. And Rick, I hope you're watching. I hope you enjoyed this. I wish you could have been here to listen to the giggles and the laughter and at times applause about what you were saying. You are a true blessing to us. Happy Pride.
Okay. Yeah, I'm a little verklempt, so you're going to have to sing this one for me. There was a lot in that, and I've watched it already 3 or 4 times, but that's family. We got the whole world in our hands. 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 We got the itty bitty babies in our hands. We got the teens and the seniors in our hands. We got the adults and the children in our hands. We got the whole world in our hands. We got a you and me brother in our hands. We got a you and me sister in our hands. We got the people in this room in our hands. We got the whole world in our hands. We got the Jews and Christians in our hands. We got the Sikhs and Muslims in our hands. We got Buddhists and agnostics in our hands. We got the whole world 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 in our hands.
Two for one today. So again, my name's Tara, and today's announcements are the following. So this Monday, because it's BC Day and a holiday, there won't be any meditation tomorrow. However, the prayer team continues to lift up the names on their prayer list. So please fill in the prayer request slip, which is found in your welcome packets, with the person's first name and the first initial of their last name, and place it in the offering basket when it goes round. And if you would like one-on-one prayer, our prayer chaplain, Gladys, would love to pray with you. Anything you say to Gladys is held in strict confidence. If you want a compassionate presence to pray with you, please see Gladys after today's program. And Unity of New Westminster is looking for audio team volunteers. Would you enjoy helping create a welcoming experience each Sunday? We're looking for a few more volunteers to join our audio team. The commitment is just once every 2 to 3 weeks from 10:15 a.m. until approximately 12:30 p.m. when the Sunday program concludes. No experience is necessary. Training will be provided, and we'll make sure you're comfortable before you volunteer on your own. If you're interested or would like to learn more, please see Rona or Glenn. We'd love to have you on the team. And finally, Unity of New Westminster is fully self-supported, and we are grateful for your gifts, which help us to share empowering ideas. Many of us contribute with pre-authorized payments, so if you are not placing anything into the contribution basket today, please bless it silently when it comes to you. If you want to give with a credit card, please scan the QR code on your screen or give at the office. For our online viewers, you'll find a donation link in the description of the recording. One of the most powerful gifts you can give us is to like, subscribe, and comment on our channel so we can reach more people. Please give freely from a place of abundance and gratitude. Thank you. We are so blessed.
I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
And we are indeed so blessed. Blessed that you are all here today. Blessed that we have an amazing musician who led us through today's service. Blessed beyond measure that his nephew was someone that I got introduced to, and for all of the work that he did. Thank you, Rick. And thank you, Vicky. Vicky Smudge. I love the idea of smudging the lines. Isn't that beautiful? Beautiful. Thank you to our audiovisual team, to our ushers, to the people who set up every week and make coffee and all of that good stuff. Thank you to all of you. As we're going to move into a circle, but before we do that, let us take a moment to bless the children of the planet, regardless of age, regardless of all of those labels that so often divide us. Smudge them away. Let's say this. Children of light, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we see the light that shines as you. Bzz. Let's move into a circle as we are able, and please feel free not to hold beside you as we sing our peace song and prayer for protection.
That was meant to be, with God as creator, family are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment. Let this be my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
I am the light of God, I am the love of God, I am the power of God, I am the presence of God. Wherever I am, God is. I am the light of God, I am the love of God, I am the power of God, I am the presence of God. Wherever I am, God is. You are the light of God, you are the love of God, you are the power the power of God. We are the presence of God wherever we are. God is, and all is well.
You know who I forgot to thank? Tara. Tara, thank you for reading the Daily Word and for reading the announcements. This was your first time doing it, and you were so amazing. Well done. Thank you, thank you. Happy Pride, everyone.